When they met, she was feeling very far away from herself. 1 year ago, she had shaved her head, and now she was desperately trying to grow it out. So now it was in this kind of weird length. She could not tie it up and not keep it down either. Her hair wasn't the only thing she was trying to grow out. She had come to India to escape. She had been deeply depressed for long now, hardly done any artwork for a year. Back home, she had been trying to change things, been trying to quit smoking for 6 months, but she was working so shitty jobs that days stood still without her having her fag break. She was smoking when he approached her. She was surprised that a guy like that was interested. He seemed in such a control of his world, quite opposite of her. He was different from the typical losers who usually approached her, and which she sometimes entertained, regretting it almost immediately every time. Another thing she was trying to change. India had been difficult for her. She didn't understand it and wasn't sure what to follow. So she had started to follow her gut feeling about everything. And that's what she did when they met. She trusted him immediately, without really knowing why. She was not the type of a person who trusted easily, and still isn't. So she started to meet him. She had never been swept off her feet before, so she resisted it, tried to distance herself from this inevitable whirlwind. She told him that she was like a horse, that if somebody tried to tie her down, she would go mad. But he somehow had this way of chilling her down. He told her that it was fine, she would find someone to run with. She wasn't sure if he meant himself. They spent months together in the exhausting task of stripping each other down, revealing every nasty little detail. Her sorrows and depression all were exposed, and her anxiety surfaced. He still liked her, to her surprise. However much she pushed him away, he remained there, soothing her like a child. The time came they had to part. They weren't sure if they would meet again, not sure what these past months had meant. Back home, she was desperate for him, not really able to let it go. She luckily got a really well-paying job. She saved every penny and managed to see him again. Their romance was exquisitely painful, which made it seem even more grand to her. She had for long romanticized pain religiously. She was aware of her behavior, of isolating herself with her fantasies, had done it since childhood. But her tendencies sometimes made it difficult to detect reality from daydreaming. Or for her, was there even any boundary? They parted again, this time for long. In their time together, he had continuously pushed her to reevaluate her idea about herself. He didn't understand why she didn't embrace her femininity more. Why she hid away inside large clothes, like that would shield her from any hurt. The years she spent apart from him, she was continuously trying to change herself, trying to reclaim something she had long time back hid from the world. But the thing was, she had hid it so well that she struggled a little bit to find it again. But when it slowly started to resurface, it was grand. Her world expanded more than she thought it could, and her melancholic nature became more manageable. She started to try to live her ambitions, and she was quite ambitious for herself. She worked on a plan to come closer to him, the one she rooted all the good changes in her life to, but also where she could possibly strive for success. Her choice of location was chosen within reasonable distance from him. But she told people it was all very strategic plan. She couldn't be honest about her choice. Then people wouldn't respect her ambitions. But the truth is, she was also not able to be entirely truthful to herself as well. Following her heart like a fool, and she had been taught better. So she held strongly to her claim that the location was really quite strategic. When she finally relocated, their feelings had drifted towards other people. They had not seen each other for 2 years. The new location was deeply disappointing to her and her ambitions. She started to doubt her plan and had to see the truth in it. It had never been very reasonably planned, much more impulse-based on emotions and curiosity. But she wasn't no quitter, she told herself. And people back home seemed rather impressed, started to be curious more so towards her work. So she just kept on going with her plan. They were able to meet again, but this time they had terrible rows, and their culture background seemed to be separating their worlds more and more. But something kept them so attached. She always called him when she felt in doubt or down, and he always seemed to be able to soothe her. The more time they were able to spend together again, they seemed to get more confident that they wanted their worlds to collide. But her damn ambition was there, vulgar and more hungry than ever. Well, it's not fair to say it was only her ambition, but also his stubbornness to relocate. So she was left to wonder, could she feed her passion there with him? She didn't feel like that was something she could give up. So their love started to hang in the balance of worst sort. Financial stability. What a horrible force to face love itself with. It seemed cruelly unjust to her. Again, the painfulness of their love became exquisitely beautiful to her. Hadn't all the great romances have to face these challenges? Challenges of parental and cultural unacceptance, mostly on his side, and financial restraints on both sides? Their worlds were in limbo of possibilities and impossibilities. They could easily fall either side of that coin, and that their future was imminently going to answer that thrilled them and scared them to death. All they could do was wait and see their fate, and her melancholic nature lingered on the phrase amor fati, love of one's own destiny.